Riders, take your mark. Set, go!
And just like that, we are off on the 2023 Pedal Away Prostate Cancer Road Race. So this is the 25-mile race, or 40K road race. And it's 50 miles as well, but this is the 25 version. The 50 mile just does 2 laps. It's in Dover, Delaware, and it was September 2023. And the first mile and a half or so is just a neutral rollout. There was some construction on the course, I guess, so they took us around a parking lot and kind of through the neighborhood over here. So while that goes on, I will just chat a little bit about the course. So it is, like I said, a 25-mile loop, and it is pancake flat. I mean, it is. There are no hills up until the very, very end. Then there's a very small hill, but we'll get to that in a little bit. The first 24 and a half miles is pancake flat. It was really well organized, and there were volunteers at all of the turns. The traffic was not it wasn't closed, so it wasn't a closed course, so there was traffic, but at all of the intersections there were volunteers stopping all the cars and everything, so that was great. There was also a motorcycle escort the whole way, so yeah, I mean, it was really, really well organized the entire way. There were about 50 of us total. We started men and women at the same time, so about 50 guys, and don't know how many women there were, but so a few women as well. For the teams, there's kind of 2 main teams. There was this team, you sort of see it right up there in the distance. They got the white and purple and orange jerseys. This guy in front of me, it's them Bama's Racing. They're out of DC area, but they were by far the biggest team, and they had like 8 or 9 guys in just the 25-mile race. They probably had some in the 50 as well. So those were, by far the biggest team in the race. There was also Shell Brothers, these brown jerseys. You'll see them pop up in a bit. I think they had 3 guys in this in this distance. So they were another team for me to watch. This was also the Delaware Senior Olympics 40K road race championship for the year. So there's a kind of a huge variety of ages in the race, but those were the big teams. I am running completely unattached, so I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so I'm on my own for this race, and there were a couple other maybe 1 or 2 person teams, but those are the big hitters. So and speaking of me, so this is my first video, obviously. I've been cycling for maybe 10 or 15 years, just casually, and this is my very first real life road race. So I'm super excited about it at this point, and I'm sort of wondering what I got into, but I'm really, really excited about it. About a year ago, I was looking ahead to my 40th birthday in a few months, and I thought, I probably should start getting in slightly better shape. So I bought a smart trainer to train over the winter, and started riding on Zwift quite a bit. And then, as many of you probably know, when you start riding on Zwift, you often start racing on Zwift as well. So I started doing that, and kind of, got hooked into it a little bit, and thought I would give racing in real life a try. So this is the first real life race that I've ever done. I don't really have any goals. I think next year, for racing in general, I guess I'd like to start doing some crit racing here in the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast-ish Mid-Atlantic. So I'm in Delaware as well, which is where this race is. And the crit season probably starts in the spring, so 2024-ish. I'd like to do some crit racing. For the channel, I think just posting some videos and kind of documenting races both in person and then also on Zwift that I've been doing, and then maybe chatting about some training and some gear and stuff like that. So I don't really have like a concrete plan or anything. But anyway, so back to this race. Let's skip ahead to some of the more interesting parts. Okay, and jumped ahead a little bit, and it's about this point where I'm thinking I don't really know what my plan is. I know that there's a pretty big team that seems to probably be controlling the race, and the guy in front of me is Jack. I met him before the race, and he seems to be experienced at what he's doing. So I figure, all right, well, I will try to stick with him, stay on his wheel, and figure out what his plan is. But I've also done enough Zwift racing to know that if I lose touch with sort of the front group, that kind of screwed for the rest of the race. So it's about this point where I'm thinking that it looks like anyway there's a little bit of a gap that's going to be opening up. So I try to stick with Jack here to kind of close that down. So we put in a bit of an effort, I guess, to try to form a front group or front pack up here. Okay, and I have successfully latched on to this front group, which is exciting. I'm much to my surprise, I'm kind of up here. There's a point coming up here where one of these guys he loses his pedal, kind of clips out of his pedal, and sort of scares everybody else. But he was all right, and latched back on, so that was fine. But we actually have a little bit of a gap between this front group and the group behind us, and I am at the back of this group, and that is definitely by design. One, because I'm not exactly sure if I'm fit enough to be in the middle. I am definitely expecting me to just be dropped at some point and not be able to hang out with these guys. So I am on the back just in case I sort of lose the wheel. I can just sort of drift off gracefully to the group behind me. But at the moment, I think I'm doing okay. The other reason why I'm hanging out at the back is because, like I said, this is my first real life bicycle race. So I can handle a bike. I think I'm reasonably competent at that, but I'm not used to riding in a pack like this. So I was a little bit timid getting close to wheels and things. So I wanted to give myself myself and everybody else in the group a little bit of leeway, just in case I get in a situation where I'm not comfortable, I can just brake and then stay in the back. So yeah, that was the idea. The other, I guess, strategical idea is that I have no obligation to chase any breaks or anything like that. Like I'm not going to be in the front of this, so I'm not taking off on a breakaway myself. But I'm also not not obligated to chase anybody. So there's a couple of big teams up there, and they have that job. So unless they have plans to be their own breakaway, I'm happy just to sort of sit back here and try to hang on, and then try to conserve some energy for the finish. Okay, and skip ahead again, and I don't know if you could tell, but I am definitely still at the back, and at the moment that is not because that's where I want to be. That is because I am kind of hurting here. So at all these corners, I'm sort of losing the wheel, and I'm guessing I've heard about, people talk about the accordion effect in crit racing. So around corners, the back kind of gets stretched out a bit, and I am definitely feeling it. I'm not exactly sure at the moment if I can stick with this group. So you can probably tell by my heart rate at some of these areas. I got to do a fair amount of work just to hang on the back, and I think I could have certainly done a bit better probably in the middle of this pack, but I wasn't, like I said, not too comfortable with that, and so I'm kind of forcing myself to stay at the back here. I also think that it is stretching out a bit because there may have been some breakaways trying to take off, and then some teams kind of trying to close those down. You could definitely feel it when that happens. You could also hear so one of the bigger teams, they would yell every time somebody tried to attack up the sides. They would yell left or right, and you'd know, like, okay, well, they're gonna chase something down, so I'm gonna be hurting for a little while they chase that down. So I was kind of prepared for some of these efforts, but yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot more of these efforts left. So I'm hoping anyway that things calm down a little bit. And as we go along a little bit more, I chose this race as my first race, not by accident. So I mean, it's close to my house, yeah, which definitely helps. But I think that it's it's not a crit race, which I was a little bit intimidated to enter at first, mainly just because of the the bike handling that's needed. So there's a lot of corners and things, obviously. So I was a little bit timid to enter something like that for my first race. So this one is big loop. There are some corners which I definitely was not entirely comfortable going through, so that's something that I might try to work on. But it was good. It's flat. I figured it was going to be a nice relatively easy introduction, I guess, to the world of road racing. So yeah, it definitely wasn't by accident that I took this one. It's also a good distance, I think, for me. I don't think I have the fitness or stamina or anything to do anything longer than about an hour or so. A little bit intimidated. I looked at the results and everything from the previous year, and it was something like 55 minutes, I think, for the 25-mile race. And I know it's flat, but when I'm riding by myself, which is 98% of the riding that I've ever done out on the road, like, there's no way I can do 25 miles in 55 minutes. I mean, that's quick for a single person, I think, anyway, for me anyway. So I know that you can ride faster in a group, but I don't know how much faster. I mean, I've done a whole lot of group riding, so it's all kind of a big question mark for me. So this was a good, I thought anyway, good introduction. And turns out, yeah, I mean, I think we finished in just over an hour. So average something like almost 24 miles an hour, which is, if I was doing that by myself, that's super fast anyway. So yeah, I'm happy with that, and I'm glad I picked this one. I mean, like I said, it's really, really well organized. So I think it was, sort of the perfect first race. So, luckily, as we skip ahead to close to the end, close to the finish now, I have been able to stay with this front group. So a little bit surprised at that, but I think in the middle it kind of, kind of calmed down a little bit. But it's starting to get a little spicy now. So so the teams are certainly still together, and they are marking attacks and things. So you'll see people going up on the left or the right, and they'll put in efforts to close those down. But I'm starting to think now is the time to start to move up. The problem is that I'm kind of boxed in on the right over here. Thinking about it now, or looking at all this, I probably should have gone to the left, a little bit more space over there to move up. But I kind of latch onto some of these wheels and try to maneuver through. I also know that there's a hill coming up at some point, and I'm a lighter rider, so I'm a smaller guy, and hills, as long as they're not too long anyway, I can hang or move up on hills. So I'm kind of not looking forward to it, obviously, but I'm thinking that might be a good time for me to think about moving up through the field. But again, I mean, I'm not a confident pack rider yet, so I'm not too sure how this is going to go. But I do know that I'm kind of latched onto one of these teams now, and I'm sort of just trying to follow him through. Is that little hill that we're talking about? So it's just an overpass, basically. Some sort of just following wheels up through here. And as we get over here, I actually think that I probably started my move up a little bit too late. I probably wanted to do it a bit sooner. I didn't realize how fast the finish came up, but we're kind of getting really close to the finish now. So I'd like to almost start sprinting now, but some of the sort of boxed in over here on the right. So once these guys open up, I sort of follow some of these wheels through, and I actually do a pretty good sprint effort, I think. So I'm trying to stick with some of these guys. I'm passing some others, but right about here, there's a group. This guy doesn't cut me off, but I kind of lose my momentum a little bit, but lets that group in front of me get away. So they kind of jump out ahead, but that's okay. I end up ninth place overall, which for my first race is great. I think ninth overall, and then fourth in my age group. So I'm super happy with that. I think it was a good first race for me.